What trend did you follow as a kid that makes you cringe now? Leave your trends in the comments below. Being mean to the slightly annoying kid who's just trying to fit in. Oof. I remember being slightly mean to another kid for that reason. He was also in my Boy Scout troop, where we got along fine because it wasn't school. One day him and his father got in a car crash and he didn't make it. It was the first funeral I ever attended and I cried hard. I talked to his dad years later and he was still a shell of man. Try not to make life hard for each other is what I learned. It's too short. I'm glad you got along fine with him in Boy Scouts and saw him as a friend. He would have appreciated it. Sometimes, kids and adults care way too much about being cool that they forget about things that truly matters. It's almost as if he's annoying cause he's frustrated that no one wants him. Source: I was that kid. I was that kid until I would just make an ass out of myself in class to get cheap laughs. All of a sudden girls are sitting next to me, haha, kill me fam. That was me. I always made jokes and shit because I felt awkwardly alone throughout most of K-12. One random day, my freshman year of college, I made what I thought bad joke. Then heard this girl burst laughing. I turned next to me and said, "Oh, I thought my jokes were bad." And someone else just said, "What? No. You're hilarious." Then I realized I actually had a lot of friends after starting college. In a funny way, that's how I made a friend. He was getting picked on, and I joined in. But I guess he had enough at that point and punched me in the chest. Granted, this was in the middle of winter in Canada, so I had plenty of padding. Didn't hurt at all. After that I respected him for standing up for himself. We were good friends for the next 4 years. Never underestimate the respect between two guys that have fought. You guys remember in the early mid-2000s when we all had graphic tees with stick figures that said sarcastic things? Yeah. I was hoping you guys forgot. I had a shirt that said, "You laugh because I'm different. I laugh because you're all the same." The irony here is that I was still trying to fit in with the alternative kids and the shirt was part of the uniform. I had one that said, "Zombies eat brains. You are safe." FBI female body inspector. I was gay. I had one that said, "I don't argue, I just explain why I'm right." I was so full of it when I was really young. I literally saw a shirt that said that yesterday. It was tea-dyed too. Oh, mine was white text on a black shirt, so it was extra edgy. I had one where it said, "If zombies are chasing us, I'm tripping you." Neon fishnet fingerless gloves. Mom told me I'd be embarrassed about in the future. Mom was right. How can we save our own kids from the embarrassment? No, wait, why would we try? We can harness that embarrassment later. The important thing is to make sure they know that they're going to be embarrassed about it, without actually dissuading them from doing it. That way it's embarrassing, but also you get the "I told you so." Totally. My mom would often take pictures and say, "Oh, you're going to love this picture when you're 30. I swear 2006 to 2012 teen fashion was some kind of twisted, unkempt version of the 80s. I had 6 or 7 pairs of fingerless gloves. The emo scene trend of the early 2000s. I was in high school, I'm black, and wearing band t-shirts, going to tiny, packed concerts, jumping around in the mosh pit and meeting band members made me feel unique. I even met Brendan Urie when he was a baby-faced 18-year-old on their first big tour with Fall Out Boy and felt really cool talking about it after they blew up. I remember taking emo pictures of myself with my flip phone and putting them on MySpace. I even titled them "Emo Pics of Me, Edit." I would edit too. I appreciate all the love, y'all. I was far from ever being cool, still am. I know we're all adults now, but I am still so jealous that you met Brendan Urie. I still listen to Panic and MCR on the daily. I skipped my prom to see MCR live and wanted to badly to meet the band and use those pictures as my senior prom Facebook photo album, but they never came out. If it makes you feel any better, he was so overwhelmed with attention from underage girls that he didn't know how to do the selfie thing with them. Plus they were mostly shitty digital and disposable cameras, So we were all just paparazzi, and so I managed to snap a picture of him on my disposable camera that I then developed and put into my binder at school. I wish I could find it. Buying and trading silly bands. There was an elementary school black market for literal rubber bands. I was a kingpin when it came to silly bands. I lived right across the street from convenience store. Were you one of those kids who had their entire arm covered in silly bands? I still am. Who said that was a bad thing? Nah, this one was a fun and harmless trend at the time. I have no regrets and don't really find it cringe-inducing compared to other things I thought were cool at that age. Nothing said suave like a popped collar on a Ralph Lauren polo shirt. You mean you only had one collar? All the cool kids I knew wore at least 2 polos. The coolest wore 3, usually hot pink, neon green, and electric blue. They've got so many pop collars they look like the Cabbage Patch Kids logo. I still see people that wear their polos with popper collars. Why? Mostly older European men who smell strongly of aftershave at my gym who work out in them. Late 90s when everything had stripes on the side. Shirts, jeans. Wear that and the ball chain necklace. I had not one, but 2 ball chain necklaces of different diameters and a large ball chain wallet which I was made to throw out prior to entering a Blink-182 concert. Yep. I remember after a Blink-182 concert the kids were absolutely raiding the trash cans. There was some crazy shit in there. I got a butterfly knife. Haha, they did a random metal detector sweep in my high school one day. There was a huge pile of knives behind the trophy case right before the checkpoint. I went back there at lunch break, after the cops were gone, and picked up a sweet like new Leatherman. But now I wish I hadn't been too scared to grab a switchblade too. Would have been a sweet souvenir. I honest to God had a mullet and I wore cut off tank tops. If it was in the 80s, then you just had hair that was short on the front and long in the back. It didn't have a name back then, and I cut mine down to a rat tail, so don't feel bad. My little brother is in high school, and this is making a weird comeback. Maybe it's because we live in a semi-rural area. But he and his buddies all look like these weird fucking hillbilly clones. Mullets, cut-off tanks, athletic shorts, and boots. They also pine over classic Camaros and El Caminos. Bowl cuts. There was definitely a bowl cut hierarchy going on in my middle school. I remember Mike had like the Mercedes of bowl cuts. Meanwhile I was sporting the Ford Focus colon. He had a fine porcelain bowl and you had the plastic Tupperware. Have you not seen the player lineups of Overwatch League? About 75% bowl cuts. I bought into the classic 90s trends that immediately come to mind. The butterfly clips, frosted lips and eyes, platform shoes. All very Spice Girls. I am having to relive it because my 12-year-old is now into the same things. Except instead of pulling back strands of hair with butterfly clips, she's clipping them haphazardly throughout her entire mane. I cannot wait for the trend to die. Is that what you want? What you really, really want? Edit. Ooh. Gold. And this is the comment that pushed me over 100k comment karma. Cheers. Scary Spice was always my favorite. No, but I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want. So tell me what you want. What you really, really want. Sagging my pants because a kid told me. You don't have to wear them that high, and I was afraid of being bullied for high waters after that. Thinking that my clothes had to have a polo, couldn't be USPA logo on it, or be plastered with a Abercrombie and Amp, Fitch, Aeropostale, American Eagle. Still wear their jeans though. I love the stretch ones they make. Or Hollister logos all over it for it to be considered swag. Also, my obsession with Jordan shoes, often dreaming of the day I would be able to buy 100s of them. I was so obsessed with trying to dress a certain way to appear trendy. Now I couldn't care less about that stuff lol. I rock clothing from Walmart, those color assorted t-shirt packs are great lol, and H&M, and until my shoes, usually Vans, give out entirely, I keep wearing them. It's all fun when your parents are spending their money, but as I got older, I realized I didn't have money to be wasting on useless stuff like a Jordan collection right now lol. Bonus. I was one of the many people that dyed their hair like Odell Beckham when he first came into the league. Didn't even know who he was at first. Thought he was a linebacker, but he had cool hair, so I got it just like his blonde curly mohawk thing. I was the first one at my school to do it and people thought it was the coolest thing lol. Then it caught on. Kids asked me how I did it and were telling me I looked like Odell. And almost every boy was walking around with blonde dyed hair later that year in my school lol.